to start off our final series of the night. I honestly thought this was going to be taking a bit longer, which is why we only have 5 of the group stage matches tonight. I figured 10 maps of gameplay would be kind of, quite lengthy, but not quite as much as I thought. We've had some faster games. This should be interesting. Both teams undefeated so far. In the top left side, we have Numadan playing his support Outcasts, and his teammate in the bottom left, Beastyqt, playing the support Undead. So double support. It's the setup we've seen before the Mycodon. The Wraith. It's what they know and love, and Mixu and Blodir, they're sticking to what they know and love. Mixu on support on the Outcast, going to go Null Chieftain like we've seen before. And Blodir with the damage on the Spark Mage is kind of what we've seen before as well. So, initial choices seem similar to what these guys have been up to until now. Very interesting as we get ourselves off and away into this over the next few minutes. So, set this up, we look to see what will happen here. Wait for the heroes to spawn in the next couple of seconds, about 5 seconds away from finishing up, which obviously means we see what the creep kind of direction is going to look like. Because we did see Beastie and Numadan change up their creep pattern to go top, then middle, then bottom before against Penguin and Intuition. Coming down the bottom here right now, we've got Mixu and Blodir going to come down, going to spawn a Fire Elemental to get this started. Rift's going to pop a Horror Decay down, and that'll help with some of this creep clearing. Looks like no aggression initially as these guys... This is what's going to be really interesting for me. These are the two teams which have been very good at creeping very quickly early on. By the way, I love this. BC casts his skeletons early to go across and fight. And to actually tank a little bit. That's really cool. That's a neat little something to help out. Only works if he's on the bottom. That does help a little bit. So yeah, these teams have been very good at creeping. I don't expect this to be a game which is really decided by, oh, these guys just picked a better pattern, or one team tried to do something cute, it didn't work out. You can see already they're both just kind of heading up to the next set of creeps, and they're both from kind of similar pacing for the early moments. That is interesting though, remember, Beastyqt giving up that economy to use skeletons to help him creep. We'll see if that impacts him going on a little bit further here. As these guys continue to creep, let's just have a quick look. The Grove Beast dropping down again from Mixu. That's a pretty standard way for him to build, it would seem. He's been pretty solid just doing that again and again so far. Out of Bloody, he's just still building up his... well, there's the Temple dropping down. So again, ready to go into Pathfinders. Temple down, sorry, Library starting. Beastyqt goes into Forlong Song. No early aggression just yet. They're going to look for a fight. That's going to be the Horror Decay in the Power Garden. Coming up to do a little bit of something, but doesn't really hit. Actually, Numadan getting nuked a little bit here. Banshees don't have Forlong Song yet. The Fireball connects as well. This is Mixu and Blodir able to win the first fight here. They pick off a Banshee as well. And they will take a slight XP advantage because of that. You can see that Beastyqt and Numadan just decided to back away. It's the right choice. Absolutely not a position.
Rise
up, keep fighting it.
Fight!
You'll see our creeps up here are going to be taking a bit more damage, so they will drop down. Level up on each of these guys, and level up over here should happen in a moment as well. So remember, there is a big difference coming in the way that these guys are setting up. You can see Mixu is still going into that kind of support upgrade the land provides. Still building into that. Obviously, Runecasters will be on the way momentarily and already on the way from Blodir. There's Beastyqt. What is that he's building? Let me just double check. He was just getting his own... he's just getting a pyre up to play defensive. There it is. It's the pyre. I figured it out halfway through. So yes, he's getting the pyre. Meanwhile, over here, we're going to be seeing the Forgotten Idol on the way up. So that tech structure coming down. So let's talk a little bit about the tech structures of the Outcast here, as we do have a couple of different ways to set up that are being used at the moment. So we've got one side going for the Forgotten Idol. Now the Forgotten Idol is going to allow you to build the Lizard Folk, which is what we've seen kind of Numadan doing before now, right? So that's going to give you Lizard Folk and some of those upgrades. The on the other side, the Grove Beast here allows the Dryads, which we actually haven't seen too much of, but it also, I believe, opens up into this Breeding Beast as well. And that's why he goes into that before the Breeding Beast. So that's what we're at the moment. And That's where we are. So that's what the players are going for, is not really much to determine. You can see Beastyqt and Numadan again, aggressive again. Banshee heals will go off Beastyqt, making sure Numadan's in range before activating that. Activates the heal over time ability as well, so you can see that heal coming up, and Numadan's almost ready to fight again. It is level 4 versus level 3 though, and that's the advantage of having gone to creep the top right side. Mixu and Blodir are just that little bit ahead, and can Beasty and Numadan find a fight to make this work? You can see the Fire Elemental will press forwards here, taking a few shots of damage to start. Oh, Mixu dives in, fires the arrow forwards, gets some damage. Banshees will offset that though. So there's no healing on this side of Mixu and Blodir, but we do have the runecasters are now in place, so if those get shots off, those are going to be huge. With the Spark Mage combo, the fiery change into runecaster connections can do a lot of damage. You can see neither team really wants to engage. The problem is as well, if you run up north to creep up here, you kind of put yourself into a disadvantage as well. Excuse me. So that's absolutely a possible problem, as you see the Fire Elemental takes a few shots of damage. There's a Horror Decay, nicely set off by the Paragon. There's a Fiery Change, Runecasters. This is their time to shine, and they will start a fire. Gets a few shots off. Numadan goes super low, super quickly. Gonna get pushed away. The Runecasters getting a shot down on Null, and that's a big shot too. Level 5 now for the team on the right. Mixu and Blodir pressing forwards, doing some good damage. This Banshee taking a few extra shots as well, so the chase here is also good. Cleaned up units as they run away. So there's a couple of Banshees looking as though those are going to go down. It's the Q ability from Mixu just to make sure he picks up that kill. Now again, Mixu and Blodir don't expand, so they're one base in it, so that one base could hurt them, given time. And as you can see, Beasty and Numadan just going to sit up here. This is the moment where, Mixu and Blodir really take over the map, though. Suddenly they can creep in the top left-hand side, take over the creeps of their team, of their enemies, and then, if they can go back and take an expand behind this, it looks good for them. And expands have to come up sooner rather than later. 2,000 Norium left on each of their mines. We're getting close to that point being required. Numadan, by the way, 58 supply is going to begin heavy upkeep at the moment. Moving forwards here, Beastyqt through the center. There is this mine in the center as well, which Beastyqt tends to like to take for himself. So both these players are mining themselves on the bottom left, and so over time, Beasty and Numadan look good. Not something to be worried about. Guys, sorry for the FPS. I should probably restart my game after this one. Again, some FPS issues in the early access. And unfortunately, that's shown on the stream at the moment, so apologies for that. Still have this boss on the top side, by the way, that protects the healing well, so that's something to keep in mind. Neither team has gone towards that yet. That will give you that 3-minute damage buff and damage take and decrease. Looks like Mixu and Blodir are going to come down the bottom. They're going to make a play, take over this base of Beastyqt. So they're going to be looking to take that down here now. You see that Numadan pressing forwards, the couple of Cyclops he's brought into play, so he likes to go into Cyclops, and they are like a range AoE damage dealer as well, similar to Runecasters. You'll see this initial Pyre getting Runecasted up at the moment as well from a distance. Skeletons coming in, trying to keep that alive, or the zombies rather. Trying to bring some more health on that, but it's slowly going down, so a real kind of standoff here on this bottom center side. A couple more shots from the Pyre, firing away. See the Cyclops trying to find a few shots as well at the moment, and well, the Pyre will hold to Beastyqt. They're able to hold this position at the moment. Again, expansions have to come up now, and they are coming up from Mixu and Blodir, so beginning to expand, begin to take that base. We do have a bit of a standoff. Neither player really wants to do much. You can see Mixu sending a few units around the top. I like this. The Naga Warband, a tank in front, followed by a couple of Nulls to deal damage. Numadan has the top side watchtower though, so he's watching and will see this attack coming around the top side. So he knows that this is coming in. He's going to be seeing the base here getting going, obviously, as we mine away for a while. Holding this high ground is very important in that regard then, because with this high ground, if you get the high ground, you can hit this low ground base. You want to try and avoid that from happening. We are in really just a standoff. Neither team wants to attack into the other, and so both teams are kind of allowed to just build up for a good little while here. Gonna see more upgrades coming in. Beastyqt going in towards the Banshee slow upgrade. He's getting the Labyrinth, so he's getting the Devastating Blow ready for the Minotaur skeletons. So yeah, these guys on the bottom left are 2 mines up. But obviously these mines are now up in play, at least for Mixu and Blodir, so they are starting to offset that a little bit. Mixu goes up top to... Well, in fact, these guys kind of give up this bottom position. Mixu's moving around the top to maybe come in, find Beasty. Oh, boss here. Actually, Beasty walks into the boss fight because his initial units are sent off, so Beasty is having some trouble. And the Banshees will heal this up. Obviously, Mixu doesn't want to chase into that at all, so he'll try and stay out of there. Mixu's units are getting caught a little bit off guard. The boss damage obviously doesn't care who he's fighting though, so we'll hit both sides. Beasty going to be losing his White here as well. White's that kind of melee frontline for the undead. He just keeps that alive. So Mixu makes a play in towards the production over here. You can see that this base is not really able to mine properly because of the fact that this high ground position is taken from Numadan. The fight's about to happen, guys. We are level 6 at the moment from Blodir and Mixu. So they have the Ember Storm on the Spark page. We've seen the importance of that in previous fights today. Blodir deals some damage. Beastyqt getting himself the Hard Decay. Runecasters take a lot of damage. Has to move out of there. But Numadan's War Beasts are in a lot of trouble. His structures, his production is about to fall. It's obviously a huge, nice fiery change to start this. Hasn't cast the Ember Storm yet. There's the AoE coming in from Mixu's hero. The ultimate's being set off here. We're still yet to see the Ember Storm from the Spark Mage. He's coming in now. An Ember Storm right here would be huge, and there it is. A lot of the Banshees getting caught up in this, and they are taking a lot of damage. Runecast is able to fire in there as well, so the AoE damage is really quite ridiculous. And Mixu and Blodir take a good start to this fight. They hit level 7 during this, still level 4 from Numadan, who is halfway to level 5. They just don't really have the damage. These Cyclops are going to be in trouble as well. They get nuked. They are slow. They are vulnerable. They go down very quickly. And it looks like Beastyqt and Numadan are in some real trouble here for this game number 1. They don't have a lot left over. Their Runecast is still firing. They had to take this fight because of the position that Blodir and Mixu were able to take. As Numadan gets chased, Numadan is going to hit level 5. It's going to go down now, though. I mean, they had to take a fight because they were losing the production. They couldn't just let their stuff fall for free. And they just, against the ultimates, were in a really bad position. Oh my god, the Panga Bolts make such a good sound when they die. How could you do that? I don't know. As we're going to see Mixu pushed away. Beastyqt is going to be pushed back as well. Another ultimate coming in from our Null Chieftain. Beasty again. A couple of Minotaur skeletons up, but they're just a bit too late to the party before it really mattered. And those War Beasts are starting to drop down. Great fights here. As you're going to see now, this base obviously in trouble as well. It will activate the damage over time, I believe, to take down a couple of these units. But the Runecast is out of range of that, and well, that base is just going to get nuked. So there goes Numadan's expansion. Now this base is mine, and now this base is mine as well. So obviously the base advantage does go the way of Mixu and Blodir. Unless Beastyqt and Numadan can do something about that, it's not going to be looking good. As you're going to see fiery chains. Still no ultimates on the side of Beasty and Numadan. Numadan will be even further away, having lost his hero. We've been missing out on experience for a while. We're about to hit level 9 here from Blodir and Mixu. They've just been killing so much. There's Numadan jumping up to the top to try and get involved in the fight. And in fairness, a lot of damage being done. It feels like Mixu is taking a lot of damage here. Numadan is going to take a big volley there. Is trying to heal up. Warden Glyphs is down on him, so he's really unable to move. He goes down again, and Beastyqt hits his ultimate. And it's going to give him a power-up, essentially. You can channel into, empowering one of your other abilities. I'm not sure if that's going to change the game, like the Ember Storm of the Fire Mage. Pushing forward, see a Blodir. Looking very good. You can see the supplies. As you can see, only 15 left from Numadan. He isn't mining anymore. His production is on fire. It's not looking pretty at all. They're down at 12 and 31 supply, 43 combined against a 65 combined, 65 combined. Mixu and Blodir. I mean, this base of Numadan's on the way down. If he doesn't keep that up, obviously he'll lose the ability to respawn his hero. He's to bring in some skeletons from that base in the center, and it will, for the moment, force some units to back away. A couple of gnolls over here trying to harass Beasty Still mining this rich mine, so able to get a lot of resources there. It's the one thing that's keeping them alive in this, as you're going to see. Oh, big fiery chains. Great ultimate combination. Fireball too. The efficiency of all of these units is just crazy, and now Beasty's going to get nuked down in that Ember Storm. So Beasty falls as well, alongside pretty much all of the units. Numadan is going to dive in, looking for Blodir. You haven't seen Blodir or Mixu die in this fight so far. Blodir is able to get out of that, up to the top side. Numadan taking some extra damage. Here's the issue, right? There's just nothing to really back this up anymore. Numadan's on 1 supply, so really has nothing left. Beasty on 25. The attempt to re-expand is going to be recasted down. Mixu jumps in, trying to chase Numadan, who is maybe soon going to hit level 6. Gives us a bit more mobility to this hero. Does not look good at all here for Beastyqt and Numadan, looking to face their first loss of the day. Mixu just coming around to that right-hand side. Numadan is going to drop the fungal growth that is slow, and actually Mixu in this fight is not really set up well to take it. Numadan can win this fight. The power of that melee hero when it gets in range of the ranger and has abilities ready is really crazy. Max level now from Blodir and Mixu, who are well able to keep up the pressure here. Numadan has no base left, remember, so now if Numadan loses the hero as he hits level 6, he loses this hero, he will not be able to respawn. He jumps on Blodir. Blodir might go down here. This fight up on the top. Blodir will fall. Will Numadan get out of there alive? The spearman on top of Numadan. And there's the Null Chieftain to come in from Mixu to chase. He is slowed at the moment. Numadan trying to get away. Remember, cannot respawn if he falls. And there's going to still be chased. Is not dead yet. I mean, trying to hang in until the very end. Beasty trying to hold into this bottom left corner too. They are going to tap out. Numadan and Beasty take their first map loss of the day, and it'll be Mixu and Blodir who are still looking good. Still between the top 2 teams. We will play one more map and make this best of 3 essentially. So you guys, if you want to see one more game after this one, you got to be cheering for Beasty and Numadan. So going to be seeing a damage opener from Numadan and probably a support Banshee play from Beasty. That's how he likes to play. So Numadan is getting into that damage roll, and you've seen him liking, because he doesn't play Outcast here, has been enjoying when he does this to play the Pathfinders, as he does choose the Paladin as the hero in this game. The Paladin is very good at defending against, I feel like, a lot of the Null Chieftain's attacks. A lot of ability to heal through that kind of high damage output, a lot of ability to redirect AoE as well onto the Paladin itself so the units survive. I feel like it's a good choice based on what the composition or the hero choice of Blodir and Mixu is at the moment. So, yeah, excited to see how that will turn out over the next little while. I love these guys. Look at him, he's just digging his way. There we go. Dig his way into the ground. He just settles in for a nice little nap. Builds up some knolls. I love it. I love it. Alright, so here come our initial heroes. Typically a lot to kind of be done here in the early stages, of course. You know, a lot of creeping and so on, so not too much to talk about that we haven't already talked about so far today. Got Enkodok in the chat, says wants an extra game, so go Beasty and Numadan. Golden Eric as well, Beasty for game 3. Making a nice nest and very comfy dirt. He really did, didn't he? Had some really comfortable dirt right there. I mean, I feel like Mixu and Blodir are going to be doing the same sort of style as what they did in the last game. But remember, guys, this game's been in early access for only a couple of days. These guys have typically found like one strategy they really find works, and seem to just apply that again and again. Just do that as much as they, basically, they, why change what's already working? What I think is cool is that we've seen a lot of teams come up with a lot of different ways to play, though, and we're seeing a good representation of all 3 races. We're seeing a good few different heroes being used. So it's pretty interesting. No, there's no mana in this game. All abilities are just cooldown based. So no mana on heroes or on any units. You just see that creeping continues. Let's have a little look at the production tab, see if anything particular is going down. BC just going Arcane Nexus. Pretty much usual, just open some upgrade choices for the Banshees. Double barracks here, and Elven Enclave. It's just the Pathfinder opening so far from Numadan, so that's as expected so far as well. And there's the library to open up. Runecaster production, as mentioned before, that's exactly what we've expected to be seen here too. So, what'll be interesting is what Beastyqt and Numadan really did very well earlier was a lot of just very good positioning on creeping and really able to take some good creep fights and able to kind of outposition their opponents in that regard. So we'll see if that's going to be true here again. Looks like these creeps being picked away at.
Fear no darkness.
How many different tech trees have we had so far? We've obviously seen quite a few. Well, you know, Numadan and Beastyqt have shown us a couple different styles. We've seen clerics being used, we've seen runecasters, we've seen cyclops. There's very few. We haven't seen Ginny. We've seen a lot of different tech trees, I'd say, so far today. There's only really been a couple units we haven't seen in the game. Obviously, some of the later tech ones, especially, because we've had some shorter games. But yeah, it's been pretty cool so far. As I'm thinking, brings this over here. These groups haven't been cleaned out yet, which is why BC and Numadan are a little bit faster moving into the top left of the map. We've generally probably seen now Mixu and Blodir probably continue to the bottom right as well. BC goes into Forlong Song, Mixu goes into the Land of the Giving, or the Land Provides, sets up into that, and just builds up into that continuation of just the increased income. Shares an order of allies. It's very powerful. So it increases income by 50%. And it's usable every like 20, everything is usable every 35 seconds. It lasts for about 20 seconds. So it's a huge amount of uptime, a huge amount of increased income.
Rise up! Fight!
Decay drops down, and this one Banshee has just gone on a whole mission in. It's gonna get pricked off pretty quickly. That's a big fireball, but then Spirit Hounds get summoned. The Banshees heal anyways. And we've seen this fight breaking out completely. Numadan went down pretty quickly though. The Spirit Hounds get nuked down, and oh, Beasty gets caught. This should be a dead Beastyqt. The Wraith doesn't have any sort of disengage potential because it's a range caster anyways. Beastyqt is in a lot of trouble here. Gonna drop the fear, is gonna push some units away.
Fight!
Mixu charges forwards, fires a couple of times. Beasty still taking some damage. So here we go, Beastyqt on the run, and what a win that is for Mixu and Blodir, who are still just on one base each, by the way. Beastyqt is about to finish his expansion. No expansion up top, though, from Numadan. Mixu and Blodir
Fight!
will just continue to push forwards. This one fight's taking them into a really strong spot. Here's Numadan back online. Just didn't do much in that previous fight. The Pathfinders here are super low, though. They're going down so quickly. Here you go, big Horror Decay to help out. Numadan is soaking some of that damage, redirecting on the Paladin. So the Paladin takes the damage off, and the Pathfinders keeps them alive a bit longer. That definitely helped out. It's a good use of the Paladin's abilities. It's exactly what the Paladin is good at. But, well, level 4 kicks in for the bottom left team. And now Mixu about to hit level 6, though. If they hit level 6, that's ultimate time. And nuke Pathfinders like that a couple of times over, and you're going to be level 6 in no time at all. As the Paladin, once again, redirecting damage and obviously one-handing itself to keep it alive. Ultimate comes in as the level 6 kicks in. We're looking for the Ember Storm as well, the Spark Mage. I mean, there goes the Paladin, is going to activate the distraction once again, the Fear No Darkness. There's the Ember Storm though, and that's going to nuke the Paladin down. It doesn't deal damage to the other units, but because it's all redirected to the Paladin, it drops so quickly. Blodir is really low here, will have to disengage, but can disengage. And also has Fiery Chains available, so we'll be able to drop that back away if needed. If Beasty misses the AoE, and is being pushed away down to that bottom corner. Mixu and Blodir looking really good at the moment. Cast is starting to come into play as well as Mixu keeps up the aggression. Beastyqt comes in, drops the Dreadful Presence to just try and push these units away. Buy some time. You can see Numadan starting to lose one of his barracks. He loses a lot of his, half his production if he loses that. So you gotta be careful as the Runecasters are just gonna go for the build, and the Gnolls are just staying in the front, trading with Pathfinders. That Paladin comes back into play. Can they find a defense here? That's find out. Blodir up on the top is super low, is going to fireball, needs a fiery chains. Okay, looks as though he's away anyways. No more engage potential from the Paladin. Mixu's still just kind of powering up at the front. Problem is they're just not killing very many units, and so they're not leveling up. Finally, there we go, a couple of kills and level 5 kicks in, but they're still a whole level away from ultimates. That's going to really, really hurt here. So Numadan up the left-hand side. Blodir will continue to back away. Mixu coming around, and again, Paladin will eventually make the hold happen, along with the help of Beasty. The Paladin, by the way, Numadan is still only level 4. Haven't been dead for some of that fight. Missed out on some experience. I kind of like this, taking the boss fight right now. Here's the difference in the boss fight in this game compared to the previous game we saw this boss killed off in. Right? If you take the boss fight now, you know these guys on the defensive. You know they're really pushed backwards. How on earth are they going to get into the middle of the map to take, to steal the boss? You just kind of don't. Looks as though we might not even have a boss fight, though. We might just look to fight overall once again. Beastyqt did get a desecrated battleground or 2 up, so he is going into Minotaur skeletons and whites. He does have the base on the bottom side as well, and we're still only 1 base here from Mixu and Blodir, so they're about to run out of resources, actually. They kind of need to win this game very soon, because otherwise they're not going to have enough to keep on fighting, so the lack of a base for these guys might be what kind of hurts them in the end. Big fireball. Blodir has to be careful. They hit level 7. There goes the Paladin. Redirecting damage again. We'll have a lay on hands. The Fear No Darkness is great. Did it just get nuked? Oh my god, Numadan just dies. Wow, I mean, again, as soon as any sort of AoE drops down, it all goes on the Paladin. It just disappears when it comes to health. That's crazy. We're seeing a little bit more rune casting going on as well. You see Beasty finally hitting level 6, but again, killing Numadan means he's missing so much experience. Finally, the decision to expand has come down, so these guys realize, okay, we're in some trouble in terms of not ending this game fast enough. Time to back away, time to expand here. And Mixu, you can see 17 supply has actually lost a lot recently. And Beastyqt Numadan, hold on. That's crazy. So as we take a moment just to catch our breath, looks as though teams on the top will protect their base on the top. They do have some creeping they can still do top left, by the way. So that's something that could come into play right now. Beasty and Numadan have not yet cleaned up the central creep, so they'll do that and obviously open up these 2 bases for themselves if they want it. Numadan doesn't have an expansion, so absolutely needs to get something up somewhere. Which kind of makes up for the fact that this was a little bit slow from Blodir as well. There we go, our base is setting up again. Our army back down through the center of the map. So that's going to be moving around there. Going to see Paladin on the right. Going to see the Banshee healing up. So the game kind of settles down a little bit, and Beastyqt and Numadan come out ahead on supply, and I feel a lot of that was just some good defensive trades, getting this base up and running as well. Nice turnaround, because they really were trailing quite heavily in this, so really able to change that up. Very strong so far. Mixu on the top side, just hanging out there as well. Army down to the bottom side, a couple of Banshees healing themselves up at the moment, and that's one of the powers of this army as well, that healing. You just see Blodir is still half health from the previous fights. The runecasters are still damaged. And that's just something because they have no healing in this army, right? So they can't heal, they can't get any longevity out of their units, and so it looks like Beasty and Numadan are on their way to kind of tying this up. See the fiery chain starting up here. I mean, there's still a lot of power on the And Fire Mage here, obviously looking for a good Ember Storm at some point. Runecaster's trying to fire. There's the Ember Storm on the top side. That's going to be a big fear. And our Spark Mage gets fired into the range of melee units. Will go down. Our Paladin has just been sacrificed again. So I actually believe Numadan is sacrificing the Paladin to keep other units alive in that AoE. And it is kind of working. Getting a lot more kind of, bang for their buck in this. But Mixu's hero is going to win out this fight. And that's kind of a big deal, getting this, keeping his hero alive to keep trading here at the end. Numadan is still without an ultimate, which is crazy. Really, really crazy. Mixu going to be backing away through the bottom side. More Runecast shots going off. Problem is, Runecast is when something isn't slowed or rooted, it's very difficult to actually connect with them, so we do run into some trouble there. Numadan really struggling from the lack of a base. Still hasn't expanded Numadan, by the way, into, has just expanded here recently. I do apologize, it's a mistake on my polling. The expand came up pretty late, so does struggle to that a little bit. Just the Paladin being dead all the time is really hurting as well, honestly, over time. Well, of an Enclave, that's going to be an increase on the Pathfinders, a level 3 on cutting winds, so continue to increase damage output of Pathfinders, and those upgrades still stacking up. Runecasters here going to be able to pick away at this defensive pyre, so Mixu leading the charge. I like these, the Warden Glyphs, they slow units that run into that area. That's the ultimate from Mixu already being cast there though, so that didn't really hit much. Runecasters now backing away, there's the slow going to come down as we see the Dawnblade in from Numadan. He's going to redirect once again. There's not much to redirect here though. Leon Hans comes in, so we'll stay alive. But level 5 against a level 9 Mixu. Now Beastyqt shows up as well though. Is going to drop the Horror Decay. Is going to fear as well. They're putting out good damage here while not taking much themselves, which is kind of what they needed going into this fight. The Spark Mage is still on the top right side of the map. Is not here yet. You can see Mixu, the Null Chieftain, just doesn't really last in these fights like the other guys do, especially without healing, etc. Pushing forwards here, Blodir just has so much supply though, and Beastyqt and Numadan are still really struggling to stay in this one. Another round of Runecasters or two firing away, and gonna go off on this base a couple times over. Just gonna be seeing still Beastyqt and Numadan on the defensive. If Beastyqt loses this base, they'll still have a central base mining. So he has this base here. It's obviously a big loss. 1,000 Honorium left in it. It's not something you just want to give it for free. That's a nice little something. And there's the ultimate dropping down as well. Beasty just gets nuked in this, so Beasty actually loses his hero. Numadan went down a few seconds earlier, and, well, this push forwards from Mixu and Blodir look as though they're going to be able to clean this up. So continuing to push on forwards here. Moving into the center, Numadan and Beastyqt, these bases, they do have access because they've mined out the lumber here, the trees. Opens up the path to come and defend this central base a bit more easily. So that could be quite important here. Shen, our Spark Mage, should be back online with the Ember Storm though, so that's going to be a huge ultimate. And the problem here for Beasty and Numadan is the way they have to defend, because of the Runecasters, they have to come forward, which means they have to move through all of these choke points. That's going to hurt. You can see the attempt to go into stables for nice here, but Numadan's going to lose the base. Beastyqt is out of here. And that's going to be Mixu and Blodir, first place in the group. Beastyqt and Numadan will be second place, which means we'll have to see them playing